Hmm. And good thing we have the cushions up because usually when we do like later shows, like we usually take them out because they close at 3 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. He was handy.
Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. And there's like a lot of people here earlier and they just left because somebody was celebrating graduation. They're having a graduation brunch. Yeah. The other was just like them hanging out before they go to roll school for some kind of event.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. I know, it's that kind of weird time in between. Do you mind if I grab this?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
They look comfy. I was like, oh, no one's
sitting. Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is comfy. Yeah, I just brought my girlfriend. Most of my friends are working right now, so it's like, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I thought, like because Memorial Day weekend, more people would be,
out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sure. So if you're wondering why I had this up, it's because I was debating whether to do a moment of silence or not, and I decided to. And mainly why I decided to do a moment of silence was because I was talking to my barber, who describes himself as a big kid at heart. Like at his barbershop, he has a lot of figurines such as Pokemon and trading cards and whatnot. And he said like just seeing the news of all this really depressed him too, and he really hurts for those kids as well, just like I do. This drawing actually is just a bunch of random drawings that my niece did, like whenever she's at home, like after school and stuff. She's in the first grade, and yeah, I was actually when I was breaking news, I told them about it, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like they were like just in shock as well, and it's just that time in here in the U.S. And what's funny is that like last week I was at an event and I found out that above the event where I hosted like a Q&A, there's a gun shop there, and it's like, wow. It's interesting because like no one would ever think about there be a place that existing on top of like let's say like a couple tea houses and whatnot. It's like almost hidden. What do you think? Like hidden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then when I walked in to like look inside the window, that's when the owner of the gun shop shows up and she's like, "How can I help you?" Holding like a bowl of strawberries. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up what I'm gonna say here. I usually write these out beforehand so I don't lose track. I mean, I've mentioned this before on this YouTube channel. All right, so we are kicking off as you know and are living and experiencing Memorial Day weekend at My Place Cafe. Since My Place Cafe is still open during this live stream, stop by and get a spring drip, cold brew, or latte. Above My Place Cafe is the Zen Den, a yoga studio run by Jody Smith. Learn more about the yoga sessions, including purchasing some Magic Melon and Mama products at thezendenla.com. So the Magic Million Mama is where you can buy her oils, her little homemade sticks to scent to just cleanse the air and whatnot. And I still need to find some time to like buy one of her products because they are amazing. And she makes her own cider as well. And for today, I am being intentional by not referring to today as a noontime poetry because we are nearing the end of AAPI Heritage Month. AAPI history is part of our history too. Alan Aquino, who read for us a few weeks back, says that Filipinos are connected to the rest of the world, and the Western world should never othered Filipino culture or AAPI culture in the first place. Marinna Benzon dives into her Phil-Am identity through her writing. Benzon is this Noontime's featured poet. Before I continue with my introduction, I'm actually going to play an audio clip from her appearance on Chozawa podcast. So just give me a couple moments here so I can remember like which clip. Yeah, so Chozawa podcast. I know Peter Real. We know Peter Real. We love Peter Real. He's collaborated with us last year, and I'm always like seeing every single episode he does. Just waiting for that part to come on.
postcards and kind of like stickers, and the cover is cool. Tell me about the cover. What is being depicted there?
Oh, well, actually, what was interesting is the original cover they had, like, involved the dog, and it seemed a little chaotic, and I just love it. And I felt like if this is the one opportunity I have to get something published, I want it to not be so chaotic. I just want it to be sort of simple and to pull focus to the name rather than the design. But the design is, you can tell it's like gold. For those of you who can't see this, it's gold print, sort of gold, with a black background. And it has the Art Deco, very like 1920s sort of vibe. It has a little fan, and it's all patterned. But what I love about it is that it's all in like these rows and columns, and it's kind of like aesthetically pleasing to look at. But you see at the very bottom, my name gets like kind of interrupts the space, and that's kind of what I loved. Like, my name is right there, but it's sort of smeared in. So that idea of like rows and columns, like that whole theory is kind of gone.
Sure.
I think it's important for people to understand, like, there are rows and columns, there's rules in place, but these might be old practices that you can break through and make a difference. And so that's what I really loved about the design.
Yeah. Want me to say?
So, that was a clip of Marinna Benzon describing her first book, Millennial Dog Eater, which I actually do want to buy myself. Do you have any extra copies available? Oh, perfect. Yeah, nice. So I'm actually gonna get that after the event. Alrighty, so I'm gonna move on to, with my introduction here. So, for for Marinna Benzon's newest book, Apply Bruja, which I mentioned in for our social media pages, I actually sang along to Police Brutality as a nursery rhyme from her chapbook. Since I mentioned othered a bit ago, the narrator says in Otherness that in another world, my otherness had always been sewn into my sleeves. I found those two lines to be quite intriguing. Reading Whiteness as a nursery rhyme brought me back to my time as the 2018 co-mean editor for In Jam Magazine House of the Muse Hills. In that issue, there's a poem by Ashley Smith titled Trumpty Numpty. Anyways, Benzone is also a comedian and musician. I've actually seen videos of her blending the two together, just like Lindsay Deming. I am just grateful Benzone agreed to be part of this reading series for my Piss Cafe, as humble as and simple as I set this up. So this Memorial Day weekend, Latanya Smith, who what was her name? Vanessa Matt Maple inside while ordering a drink. Jody Smith, owner of the Zen Den, and I welcome Marinna Benzon.
This is a nice little setup. Do you mind if I adjust?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm much shorter than Jessie is. Hi, I'm Marina, and I'm going to be reading a couple poems today, so hopefully this won't bore you. So the first will be from Polite Bruja, which is my most recent, and I believe that Jessie was quoting quite a bit. So we're going to start, because it is still sort of, it's always AAPI celebration for me. So we're going to go ahead and start with this one. It's called Today I'm Going Outside. Today I'm going outside. Today I'm going outside in public. Today I'm going outside in public alone. But Auntie says stay home because hate crimes hangs around the liquor store I always go to, and Mom says racism just moved in across the street from us, and Dad swore that he saw murder sitting in a pew at the same church that we go to. Well, today I'm going outside. And despite my broken will, I will push a breath out of my chest and drag one foot in front of the other and pretend to remain calm, remain suspicious, remain American. The news channel will rotate their circuits, of which AAPI hate crime is the most marketable to their much lesser audience. Media monsters will spew hatred in the air like it's a sweet aroma that we've craved for, that we've been itching for, that we've been so desperate for. Now our lives will be of greater value, they say. Disney Plus and Netflix will have a whole category celebrating AAPI stories, the same Kung Fu Shanghai fresh off the boat, living off the island stories, penned by a hand with a lot less melanin and a lot more money. BuzzFeed will fashion themselves with enough AAPI articles and celebration posts of how to help the community and to stop the hate. Why? Because racism has become as trendy as macrame tits and rattan chairs in the shape of a crescent moon. Jessica from high school have sent various heart-shaped emojis to all the Asian people she knows just to tell them that she empathizes with them. John from freshman year would have posted on his Instagram how he donated to some cause with some name with the word Asian in it. Jennifer from improv class will have made a tearful TikTok how she doesn't believe Asian people brought COVID 19 to the US for biological warfare because she's always loved anime. So while I'm sitting on the receiving end of emotional text messages and good intentions, I want to let you know that I have been Asian this whole time. This is not new. This is just new on your newsfeed. So when you text me about how you feel sorry and scared for me, I want to know when 9/11 happened, did you text your Muslim friends? When they built a wall and detainment camps, did you call your Latinx friends? When George Floyd was murdered, did you DM your black friends? Because we are not your cosigns that you were a good person because the internet told you to give a shit. But still, I want to go outside. So I tell my auntie that hate crimes doesn't hang around the liquor store I always go to. Hate crimes owns that liquor store. I tell my mom that racism not only had been living across the street from us, but also runs the neighborhood watch. And I tell my dad that murder doesn't go to the same church as we do. Murder's the priest, deacon, and altar server at mass. So yes, today I'm gonna go outside. Ooh, it's a poem. Thank you, one person, for joining us. So that is sort of in direct response with with COVID-19 and the pandemic and the call to action for AAPI hate crimes that has been happening, and a lot of text message I've been getting from random people. So that is my response to them. Moving forward, I have this next poem that's completely different. It actually is in response to Little Women by Louise May Alcott, and who I believe is also like the OG lesbian. So here we go. How Married or Dead. Oh, unfaithful day. You brewed cotton candy skies in the name of love, a distasteful habit. What a beautiful lie to humor, that society may dance in its own unforgiving way. The decadence of death seems attractive. But still, ink stains linger under fingertips, nails furiously mismanaged, and dresses scorched from the night before. To be interesting, to be theatrical, to be uncuffed from a man or a coffin seems romantic. But still, the boy next door peers over, through his veiled window. He dawdles on and prays for his youthful vanity will interest the unconventional one who indulges too fondly into tomfoolery and pen stories. Not the one who pronounces her smile in striking chords, not the one who wants small things yet feels smaller than richer girls, not the one who loves abruptly and heeds to be a decorative wife, but still, giving up the world too freely is a task brought unto many other women before. Marriage remains unfitted to wear. Death remains painfully boring. To be unfitted or painfully boring. What a grand and wicked gamble. So those are my thoughts on marriage. But also my thoughts about the classic Little Women. So moving forward, uh, quick story. I have this best friend from Tacoma, and for her birthday last year, she had asked me very kindly, I don't want anything. Just send me a card and write a poem for me. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I didn't. So many moons later, I ended up writing this poem called Kinfolk, which I believe is for my friend who I never sent this poem to. Here's to the girls drunk in the bathroom, a cacophony of Yas Queen occupying this space. It was only natural for these interactions to slumber here. What unnatural depravity is to be without other women. I've harbored a brazen adoration for my kinfolk, cutting my fingers, picking up the shards from the glass ceilings, bracing my spine with fine-toothed anecdotes and salted quips from the girls that held the lights in the conference room. Brandish my offbeat gait like a sword for the girls who are walking alone at night. The girls, fashioned with bamboo hoop earrings, the cat eye sunglasses, who sidestep past pandering men on their way to work at work, the women who learn how to steal the wind from your lungs and sit by themselves to continue to finish reading their book at the bookstore, the girl who have made out with the moon and stood up to the sons of these girls break bread with their sexuality, dance with their faltering masculinity. The divinity of women can't be held in your back pocket, nor can it be embellished within the careful character development of a TV screen. Obscene it is to be without them. So we replicate the shape of which, through virtual avatars and sex dolls, doll face, baby doll, darling, sweetie, honey, kill me. The sanctity of a pussy cannot be truly praised by fools dying from irrelevance. So here's to my kinfolks, the girls drunk in the bathroom. Thank you. We all know girls who are drunk in the bathroom. Honestly, though, I'm not gonna lie, those are the best. That's how you make friends in your 20s and 30s, right? You find some girls also drunk in the bathroom. So this next poem is for anyone who loves true crime and are also worried that they're going to be a victim of true crime, much like myself. So this is titled "Tell the News Reporter." If you should find my body off-road of a narrow hiking trail and bloodied by the hands of a determined man, tell the news reporter that I tried. Tell the news reporter that I walked with my keys between my knuckles and my best friend on the phone and that I nearly broke my neck from looking over my shoulder. Tell the news reporter that even with my self-defense classes and my voice turned trumpet, that my bones still broke to fit the moldings of one man in one moment. One unidentified Asian woman was found dead in Lake Balboa, found earlier this evening. Tell the news reporter that my feverish fingernails dug deep with someone else's flesh, a beige, yellowish tan, bright enough to be seen but dark enough to be forgotten. Will they say that I was exceptionally bright? Or will they say that I was unfailingly kind? Will they lie for me when my throat is gagged by a forest green cardigan? Tell the news reporter that even in death, I'd like to be on the front page. Despite the fact that I'm not a Jessica, Megan, or Becky, tell the news reporter that I was deserving of love the same way I was deserving of death. Thank you. Just moving along. Anyways, I'm sure I'm not the only one who fears that they will be a victim of some sort of true crime. So, yeah. So we're gonna move on to a poem that normally I don't really partake in love poems. It's not really my vibe, but I wrote this in response to a person, and so this is from my first chapbook, Millennial Dog Eater. This is called Her. My bed looks exactly how you left it. I try to divert my focus somewhere else, but it's a crushing sight that belongs to me now. I can go on about the sun, the stars, and the moon, and how I could rearrange them to get a better perspective of you, but Mercury being in retrograde doesn't reverse my bloodstream, doesn't grip my ribcage, doesn't scare me as much as you do make me move with confidence. Though I question if it's mine or yours, I question if this is a prompted attraction or the need for a new infatuation or purely self-serving obsession that's long overdue. I like you because of how you make me feel. The high is overbearing, the thrill fills me out, and the nerves grow bigger than us sometimes, and sometimes you just don't want to belong to yourself. You sit at a piano and draw out a deafening breath, hold your voice into a song and tuck it away for an empty day and let your ginger hair fall to consume your face because it's comfortable, because it's natural, because it's getting late and we should go to bed. To feel you bury your face between the arches of my shoulder blade, to know that your heartbeat changes in rhythm to its own intentions, to hear your breath stagger when your tangents build their own stories. I just want to be beside you. Thank you. That is the most like love poem you're ever gonna get out of me. So indulge in it. So this last poem, I will say is probably my favorite poem. I think of it as like an evergreen poem, and I also think of it as me being in a snarky mood about people caring too much about things, which is, care about things if you want to care about things. Do you live your life? So this is called Small Distractions. A splendid disposition to be alive and breathing. It's despicable to think otherwise, that the job with health benefits and the pristine house in an affluent neighborhood and the mediocre family with beaming faces are the only things that carry weight. But it doesn't deviate from death. It doesn't delay the deadline, doesn't rebel against science. We fill ourselves with small distractions and let the nuance breathe a little bit more life into us. We take our place in the world fantastically obsessing to be important, to be remembered as something more than a defect of a condom, as if retweets and likes will compose symphonies at our funerals, as if our digital footprint won't tread on our ashes. Small distractions will always exist. The unremarkable urges between teenagers, the quiet rumbling of Instagram followers, the seething quakes of babies being born. It's the small distractions that construct the idea of life. It becomes about the next paycheck, the next party, the next heartbreak, the next promotion, the next small distraction that we can fawn over, that we can cry over, that we can obsess over, and then what? We continue to fracture ourselves into factions, meticulously piece each other back together in the name of love, build a top of defining moments that disguises itself as life. These are just small distractions. Thank you. So that, thank you. I was actually reading from two of my chapbooks, also known as my only chapbooks, Polite Bruja, which I believe is to be the gayer of the two, and then Millennial Dog Eater, which is, I think, just like more political on standpoints. If you are interested, come and follow me on Instagram, hit up Jesse, and I would love to send you some books. Thank you.
So earlier you brought up that you write poems for your friends. There's a term that I learned about that recently called custom poems or on the spot poems. And another poet that does that is Brian Sonia Wallace. If you ever seen him, you'll always see him like out and about, like bringing like a physical typewriter to type the poems and give the piece of paper to like the person that is requesting it. I think it's really cool, and I actually like that kind of stuff. Like maybe I should probably like, well, you know what? I take that back. I have written poems to people, but I usually like change their names because I always like the fictional world. But maybe I should try the whole like writing to someone literally. So that sounds pretty cool and intriguing. But thank you for reading to us. And thank you for making this My Place Cafe event a reality. I love hosting poetry events here. Even as intimate as it is, I like doing this stuff. I find great joy in doing this. I really do. To follow Marinna Benzon on Instagram, I believe it's Marinna.Benzon. And again, she has two books out, which you should totally check out. Millennial Dog Eater, which I am actually going to buy after this live stream ends. And then tomorrow, for Memorial Day weekend, we're going to have a special event. It's the Glendale High School Creative Writing Club showcase. They're going to have from the host, Mary Tumayan. I know, I'm mixing up all the M's here. Mary Tumayan, who we had read here at My Place Cafe back in March, told us that 8 of her students are going to be reading poetry, and that she wanted some like special appearances. So I was fortunate enough to like find some special appearances for her. Those individuals are Obasan Lin, who I met through a Spectrum Publishing event. Diosa X, who I also met through a Spectrum Publishing event. Juan Amador, who I met because he came to see Nikolai Garcia read back in February, and then myself. Yeah, myself. Yeah. It's gonna kick off at 11 a.m. Please come on out and see and support the high school students that are just putting themselves out there like Marinna and I do on a regular basis. And have a great Memorial Day weekend. And remember to make my place your place.